Hey everybody, Hans here. Hey, I know it's been a few days since I dropped a video, and I appreciate everybody's patience. Been on a family vacation this past week, and tried to drop some videos prior to leaving with some upcoming reviews on some bourbons that I've got here. Also got a chance to do some reviews of bourbon infused or barrel aged coffees. I've still got a couple of those to go. I had 4 selected. I have 2 remaining, which I'll probably push out this weekend so that I can have a chance to enjoy those. It's back to work tomorrow, so anyways, we'll do the coffee reviews, finish up that this weekend, and kind of give you my final thoughts on those. I've got another coffee review to do coming up. A new veteran-owned coffee distributor here in the States. Went ahead and bought a few different coffees from them. They are very young, early stages, getting started. Try to do anything I can to support number one, American made, number 2, veteran owned. As a veteran myself, it's tough out there. So, anyways, got some coffee reviews coming. Again, have a bourbon review coming this evening. We're gonna go ahead and select the America bourbon from the short video that I pushed out last week. This one rated very high on the views, and so I think the only one that rated above this was the Blanton's. But I wanted to do the review on America bourbon because, again, this is a veteran-owned company. When I was in the Marine Corps, I supported the 2nd Recon Battalion. Former reconnaissance Marine is the founder of this company, this bourbon, and so I wanted to get this review out there for you guys to see and to promote America bourbon, to help kind of spread the awareness and the knowledge of this bourbon. And so that review is going to be coming up here pretty quickly. But I wanted to touch base real quick on the vacation, kind of veering off of my normal, bourbon kind of themed, cigar kind of themed. I think more importantly, first things first, I'm a dad, right? I've got 7 kids. And so like I mentioned, this past week, we were on vacation up in Seagrove Beach, Florida. If you guys are looking for an awesome beach, awesome sands, awesome, beautiful waters, you've got a mix of houses, condos, townhomes to select from. It's a great community, great experience. Highly recommend checking it out if you're looking for a place to go visit in the Panhandle area. They're located just about 30 miles southeast of Destin, Florida. So check it out. But anyways, getting back to with 7 kids, my wife and I, we lead busy lives. We're constantly going, running, taking care of the kids, and wouldn't have it any other way. Don't get me wrong, but when we do vacations, we like to have that time, and so I've made a couple notes here. Just some things that I think are important. Again, your time is limited with your kids. If you think about it, roughly 18 years until they become an adult, and then they're off to college. They're starting their own families, their own careers, and it's definitely not that they're not your children still, right? It's just it's not the same when they're out on their own. So we try to try not to take that for granted, and make the best out of these moments that we do get. So that kind of leads me to number 1, bonding time, right? So going on vacation, it can be quite hectic, planning for, prepping for, etc. Especially for a beach, you're taking your chairs and your umbrellas and your beach toys and your wakeboard, or your wakeboards, and all the stuff. So it can be kind of hectic, but it gives you that bonding time, and it really kind of lets you grow tighter and stronger as a family in those chaotic times when you need to work together. So again, kind of gives you that bonding time. You're close knit, and and I'm talking more, more immediate to my family right now, but um, even the larger family that came down to Seagrove as part of my wife's grandmother and grandfather, those two those two souls produced over 100 extended family members, and we get as many of those relatives together every couple of years, and we experience that time together, and it's pretty awesome. I mean, there's not much like it out there, and so I feel pretty privileged to be a part of it. Which leads me to number two, right? Shared experiences. These are for us being in the Tampa Bay area, it's about a 6 hour trip up there. Others are coming from 12, 13, 14 hours away. So we're sharing the experience of like, everybody kind of coming together and, you know, being a part of that. And, more importantly for like our kids, seeing all that come together, it shows them the importance of family. It shows them that the investment we put into being with our family and maintaining those relationships. And so it's pretty awesome to share that with them. And of course, the trips are always eventful. Actually, this past week we kind of set a rule and we talked to the kids prior to going up there that we weren't going to be taking electronics, computers, Oculus, Switch, etc. And it kind of got a little bit of a balk at first, right? But ultimately, it worked out well. The kids, they were more focused on spending time with their cousins and the rest of the family. They went to the beach, rode bikes, and it was just an awesome time. So kind of leading into number three here. So learning and education, vacations, depending on where you go, again, we typically tend to go to the beach areas every couple years with the extended family. On the off cycles, we might try to go to the mountains, Georgia, Tennessee, etc. I know 3 or 4 years ago we did kind of a couple mini vacations and we went to the Space Coast for a long weekend, and then the following weekend we went up to St. Augustine, which is up in the northeast corner of Florida and has a lot of history. So we try to use those as learning experiences for the kids and let them know that there's lots to explore out there, lots to learn, and lots to be a part of, right? And number four, it's kind of the obvious one, and I know that many of you will be able to relate to this, but relaxation and stress relief, right? Like I said at the beginning, we lead busy lives. We're constantly going between jobs and careers and kids and school and activities and events. It gets pretty hectic at times, and so it's always nice to be able to go and get some of that relaxation time, do a little stress relief, do a little soul searching, do a little reflection on where things are, where things have been, where they're going, etc. And it's fun to do that, with your family, and everybody has a little bit of their time to themselves as well, because we all kind of deal with that stuff and process that stuff differently, and at our own paces. So anyways, jumping down to number five here, life skills development. This one, it kind of relates back up to the education and learning, but again, I'm from a small town in the Midwest, Illinois region, and growing up there, we weren't exposed to a lot of things, growing up outside of what we knew. And so, being able to plan out a vacation, being able to lay out a packing list of, all the things that we need to take and trying to get it organized into to the bags and get it organized into the cars and in doing those kinds of things, it shows our kids that it takes effort. Even to go on a vacation, it takes effort, right? But it also shows them the importance of that upfront planning and organization. And so when they're asking for this or that, and my wife typically, right, is able to say, it's in that bag on the right side, and they're just blown away, as am I. But anyways, it just helps them develop. It helps them be a part of that team. It helps them be a part of that event and coming together. And they may not realize it, but when they look back on it down the road, and they're like, raising their own family, getting ready to go on a vacation, they're gonna be like, "Oh man, I remember when we used to do this," and they're gonna remember that stuff. So, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and jump to the last one here. Creating lifelong memories. So again, 7 kids. We've got 3 boys, 4 girls. My oldest is 13. My youngest is 7 months. We've got quite a bit of a range, a lot of different interests, differences in interest and whatnots. So I think that this one's important for us, creating lifelong memories. Not only are we creating those lifelong memories within our own immediate family, because we are a pretty tight-knit team. My older kids help out immensely with the youngers, and it's really pretty awesome to see it all kind of happen. But it's even more incredible seeing my large immediate family opening up into the larger extended families, and seeing my kids interact with their cousins or their extended cousins, or and I don't know all the lineages, so I'm not going to get into that, but it's just awesome seeing them create those memories, create those bonds with their family, who may be 1,000, 1,200 miles away, and they know each other. So every couple of years when we if we get together, not before then, they know each other, and they're like, they're able to pick back up on what's going on in each other's lives. And so anyways, I just wanted to hit on that this evening, as my first video back, because, I think it's important for us all to kind of slow down a little bit and really pay attention to those things in life. For me, it's my kids, it's my family. For others, you may have your own things that are important to you in life. And I think, again, it's worth taking the time to slow down and think through that, think about it, reflect on it. And so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video and leave you just with those thoughts. We had a little bit of a scare with my 3-year-old on the way back. We had just took off. We were 30, 45 minutes down the road, and my wife and I, we've outgrown one car, so we were in 2 separate cars. And so we stopped at a coffee shop and got some coffees, and we jumped back in, and we're gonna start hitting the road again. And we pulled out of one stoplight, took a left, pulled up to another stoplight, and I noticed, my daughter and my son that were riding in the back seats with me had fallen asleep. My daughter, who's kind of catty corner in the back right seat from where I was in the driver's seat, she wasn't acting right. Something was going on, and when I tried to wake her up, she wasn't really responding the way I expected her to. And so it startled me, right? I pulled over immediately and got out of the car, went around, pulled her out, and she was limp as a wet noodle. And you go through something like that, right? And it's pretty scary. And so after getting her out, kind of talking to her for a minute, she kind of came to, but it was pretty scary. We took and got her some water, thinking maybe she was dehydrated. We spent the week on the beach. We tried to keep sunscreen. We tried to keep a balance, not let the kids just kind of run wild and be out in the sun all day long getting baked. But, with younger kids, you never really know, and it's hard to tell where they're at because they just want to go, right? But anyways, we called my sister-in-law, who's a pediatrician, and kind of walked through the symptoms, and ultimately we ended up kind of backtracking back the way we just come from to go back down to Panama City to an Advent pediatric ER down there. And you know, everything was good. They were awesome. You know, my daughter was in and out. Really, by the time we got there, she was kind of back to her normal self. But ultimately, you know, we think maybe she had a little seizure, and you know, and I know that's a scary word, right? But I think for those who know, you know, they're not so uncommon in kids that age bracket, and a lot of times, from what we understood from the doctors, is they tend to happen. They you know, when they're sleeping, and they go very unnoticed, and by the time, you know, anything, you know, anybody does notice, they've already fully recovered, and there's no impacts whatsoever. So anyways, it was kind of a bit of a shake up for us on Saturday, as we were you know, planning on shooting back down to Tampa, hoping for an uneventful trip, and that happened. But you know, we were blessed that we had sister-in-law to call and kind of get some inputs from. We got down to Advent, the pediatric ER, and they were awesome again. Took good care of my daughter. Did some blood tests, hooked her up to an IV, got her some fluids, you know, gave her a popsicle, all that kind of cool stuff. And, you know, she's back home, jumping, flipping, doing all the kind of stuff in the pool. And, you know, I kind of tease that she's like a lithium battery. I mean, she just goes, and goes. And it's just nonstop. But it's awesome, right? The energy is fun to watch and awesome to be a part of. So, again, kind of, you know, that's the leverage here on this video, the importance of family. And I wanted to share that with you guys this evening, you know, because a lot of times it's easy for us to get caught up in our daily lives, our busy lives, and take some of that stuff for granted. And wanted to kind of just push something out, you know, it just kind of felt right. So anyways, thank you for stopping by. Thanks for your patience once again. I know it's been a few days since I got videos out. I'm going to jump into some bourbon, America bourbon reviews here in a little bit, and be pushing that out there. If you see this on the shelf, support your veteran-owned bourbon company here. If you don't see it on the shelf, you know, feel free to ask the store if they plan on getting that in. You know, help spread the word, and help support a veteran-owned company. So anyways, thank you again. Please, you know, continue supporting the channel. If you would, you know, smash the like button for me. If you want to keep, you know, listening to videos that I make, you know, I know typically, you know, it's kind of like, you know, find a niche and stick with your niche. Quite honestly, this channel is probably not going to go that way. I'm going to talk about bourbons. I'm going to talk about cigars. This evening, I'm going to enjoy a 21-year Gurkha Cellar Reserve. So I'll be talking about cigars. Prior service, you know, I'm a big supporter of the military. We'll be talking about military stuff. You know, family oriented, big on family, big on helping our kids plan and prepare for adult life, you know, planning financially, planning for college, you know, planning for the things that are the biggest challenges that any of us face ever in our lives, doing that transition from childhood to adulthood. So we'll be doing more videos on that kind of stuff, because I think that that's super important. And, you know, it really doesn't take a lot to help, you know, educate your kids and help them prepare for that transition in their lives, to give them that much more of a head start. And again, I know that we're not all able to give them monetary type help all the time, but education is